See, I have to say, for everyone who can actually watch the podcast and see this, she's in a marvelous cage. She looks like a songbird in a cage. I
King
love it.
songbird, love it.
Yes. If you haven't, go over to the podcast and have a look. Okay. So, Z, now that you're stuck in your cage and have to answer all of my questions, tell us,
I'm
what
in
was
a cage in a cage, right?
what was your childhood like? You were uprooted from Miri to KL, is that right?
Correct, yes.
So what was it like?
Miri was very, very super mellow. My neighborhood, I come from a neighborhood called Lutong, and I just remember having like a really wholesome childhood. My dad would, you know, take me on his bicycle in the back seat, and we'd go for cycles on the beach every evening. Um, Past the river, all of that good stuff. But I really liked my hometown. It's very quaint. So I had a pretty good childhood, actually. Lots of playing outside.
But why did move to KL though? What happened?
Work, dad's work.
Right. So the whole
Yeah.
family went, and did you go kicking and screaming? And I'm like, no, I want my Miri.
It was pretty exciting, actually, for me because we used to travel back and forth. My dad had to do day trips all the time for work. So we'd
Wow.
fly from KL to Miri. So eventually he was like, you know what, guys, like, my business is mostly there. So like, what if we just moved? And then we did
How old
back
were
in
you then?
1998. I was 12 going on 13.
Ooh.
So yeah, around 13 lah, like Form 1.
Gosh, that's around the same sort of age it was when we had to go to England for my little brother's special
But
schooling
those are
and my brother's
formative
schooling.
years, though. That means you're leaving behind friends and stuff like this, right?
Yeah, and like we didn't have Facebook at the time, so like I don't keep in touch with anybody. It's just like people who do recognize me from school, and they hit me up on Instagram, and I was like, "Do you remember me? We were in primary 3 together." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I totally yes, I do remember you. We were also in Pengakap together."
You stole all my shuttlecocks. I'm not talking to you. Yeah. Okay. Love it.
By the way, I'm Baby Spice.
I love it. So, talk about Baby Spice. Tell us about your road to music. We hear it almost started with law studies, but you decided on arts and fashion in London. But then that wasn't exactly your cup of tea either. So, what happened? Tell
No.
us.
I guess like I'm very consistent about being inconsistent.
I can resonate with
So,
that. It's all
you
good.
know, as my mom would say, everything halfway. So music is my longest relationship.
Very good. Well, it was meant to be that marriage. But how did it come about? How did it start?
Yeah. Why law in the first place, though?
I mean, do you want me to be honest and
Yeah.
tell you that it's uh, I guess it was like the Asian parent pathway, I guess. So you can talk a lot. Should be a
Yes.
lawyer.
Yes.
But nobody
Yeah.
said that we had to do so much reading. So
Reading.
I'm just like, I'm like, nah, can we skip to the part where I'm in court and I'm arguing with people? Like, I like that part. That seems pretty interesting. But
Okay,
nobody
so
told me.
from that, then you decided on arts and fashion. That's way off to the other side. How was that? Did you
I don't
actually
know.
did it for a bit, right?
Which
I mean, the one arts and fashion in London. You were actually doing it for a while.
I did, yeah. I went to uni and then, but like my London experience is more me getting my life experiences. And I think like if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have written my first album. So, like I really love like answering questions like this, like when you think about things in retrospect, because you really do start to understand that timing is everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, if I didn't meet this person or if I didn't do that, like I wouldn't even be here today, like talking about it. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, my musical journey, I guess, as cliche as it sounds, I was told that I could sing before I could talk. Um, and but my love for singing really started with karaoke.
Oh, really?
Nice. So what was
Laser
your
disc, laser disc.
Laserdisc. Okay, was it the purple color? Oh no, that
Oh
was
no,
that was
that's
different disc.
DVD.
Yes,
No,
DVD. Okay,
no.
sorry, I'm getting the wrong
Laser
answer.
disc. Ah, yes.
They were inconvenient because you had to flip them over,
Correct.
right?
Right, and like
Yeah.
with two hands as well,
Yes.
because yeah, I
Yeah.
was just like a tiny thing, and I remember just like I had to take this big thing out, put it in the
Oh.
thing, yeah. But
What was your song?
Yeah, what was your signature tune?
okay, so I remember my first. I feel like my first, because there were so many adults around. My parents would have their friends over, and we'd have like a karaoke barbecue party almost every other weekend. And my song was "Sad Movies" by Sue Thompson.
Wow.
I was like
Oh,
Wow.
6
that
years
one.
old. It's like sad
Yo,
movies always make me
old
cry.
soul, man, that one. This is super old soul, this
It's
one.
like, why do I like all the melancholy songs? It explains a lot about me. But
Mind you,
yeah.
it seems, it seems to make perfect sense. The melancholy sort of, but beautiful songs led you somehow into the sort of books, shall we say, with Jack Johnson.
Yeah, it was huge news here, man. I remember reading the news. I'm like, local songstress Jack Johnson, and everybody was going like, "What is going on here? How did that happen?"
YouTube, actually. So I started posting secretly posting
What
songs.
do you mean secretly?
Secretly, yeah.
Covers.
Sorry, YouTube and
I
secretly.
didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't actually tell my family nor my friends that I had this diary on YouTube. What I mean by that is that those were all uh, poetries from my journal, and I would just sit and write songs and then just post them like this.
Right,
It's
right.
half of my face, because I kept it super anonymous up until the point where news got out that I had gotten the record deal, and then people started to be like, "Oh my gosh, you're Coco Kaina." I'm like, "Yeah."
And then your parents go, "Wait, you can sing?" Or they knew you could sing already, lah.
They knew I could sing, but they didn't know I could play guitar and write. So when I told them that, I told them the news, and I think they spent the whole night just listening to my songs on YouTube. And
Wow.
So they
then I
binge
think
watched the box set of Z.
sorry?
They binge watched the box set of Z on YouTube. Suddenly discovered a treasure trove of like hours of their child's music, and so they stayed up all night.
Yeah, I think my dad was super relieved because I grew up quite an eccentric child, so nobody could figure me out. But I think like when the whole music thing happened, my dad's like, "Oh, okay, all right,
It
okay."
makes sense
No,
now.
Oh,
that's
yes.
why she's like
Yeah.
that, lah, right?
Yeah.
But how was that though? I mean, what was that experience like to do YouTube, and then next thing you know, you got a record deal, and then you've got to jet off.
Um, well, when they approached me, I rolled off the bed quite physically and literally, because I couldn't believe it that I got this offer from Monotone Management, who manages the White Stripes,
Nice.
MIA at the time, the Shins, Vampire Weekend.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Yeah, we're interested in like signing a deal with you." And then we got on a Skype call. It was Ian Montone and Emmett Malloy, who is the co-founder of Brushfire Records. He co-owns it with Jack Johnson. I really enjoyed that conversation with Ian and Emmett. Like, I still remember it, and they were just like really, you know, super vibrant people, and we were all really just super excited about the joint venture that Monotone and Brushfire was going to have. And I was the first artist to be under this venture of theirs. And I think it was maybe, I want to say 1 or 2 months after that, they flew me out to LA. And I guess, yeah, it started from there. It was my first time in an actual studio too.
Wow.
And what?
Yeah.
Was it shiny?
Yeah.
For you? Was it like such a shiny
The,
experience?
ooh, you know.
I was like in awe of everything, but also incredibly jet lagged.
Right.
I'm sure that would have
So
helped
you're like in a
actually.
dreamy mode. I'm like, is this really real
So,
or not?
yeah,
right?
so you wouldn't care so
Yeah, I'm
much,
just
right?
like, I was just, like meeting all the people there. I met Robert Carranza, who did my first album, and
Yep.
he's worked with like all these incredible people. He's worked with like Yoko Ono, he's worked with Beck, Beastie Boys, and just the nicest people. My goodness, not a single strand of ego, which is what I really enjoy about working with a lot of people that I've worked with back in the States as well. And they're so generous with knowledge.
Hmm.
So,
Were you a
yeah,
bit
I really,
apprehensive though, on the way to LA? Did you think, wow, how what's it gonna be like?
I try not to kind of overwhelm myself with expectations when it comes to things like that, because like in the past, like like when I was younger, like I would have expectations about how a scenario would be. And I'm an overthinker too. So healthy imagination, and then it doesn't happen, and I'm like, so I've learned not to kind of like limit myself, just be open to the
Just let
experience
it
now. But
be.
yeah, and yeah, so far so good.
So you've been away. You went away, and you have been away for a decade.
Almost a decade.
More,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, long time.
Yeah.
But you're recently back here in Malaysia. What was behind that decision? Besides, don't say COVID, or was it COVID? Did you get stuck here?
No, actually, you know what? I came back. It was quite timely, actually. Okay, so my family's still here. I have an 18-year-old brother who's going to be going off to college soon, and I've been away for most of his life. And I just wanted to come back and, sort of like, okay, my turn now. So I'm going to be with the parentals now while you go away to college. But also, I just really kind of wanted to get to know him as a person. Um, and yeah, and also I feel like the past 10 years, right? It was as if like I was away in university for a very long time,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to come back and sort of like apply myself and my, you know, past experiences and knowledge, and see how I can contribute to my community around me, to be completely frank.
Okay, that's super cool, actually. And
Yeah.
then having a brother that age, that young, um, what's it been like, sort of reconnecting? Because he's old enough to be his own man now and not want to have anything to do with his sister anymore, right?
I
Or
know
is he?
he's so cool. He's such a polite young man, very, very, very intelligent. He's too cool for me.
Too
I
cool
think
for you.
he's the only Gen Z that I know is not on TikTok.
Oh, right. I like him already.
you know.
That's
So
so cool.
yeah, like just as you said, Asha, like he is quite his own person. And I'm very lucky lah. And with such a big age gap as well.
So cool.
Yeah.
So, tell us more about Nada Music and why on Clubhouse, or why? Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you for asking me that. Nada Music MY is a weekly open mic session that I host with my friends Asamat and Brendan De Cruz, who's also a singer songwriter. And we just get together every Friday night. And what it is becoming is a whole treasure trove of heard of unsung Malaysian talents. And your heart would just swell with so much pride if you come and tune in every Friday night at 9:30 p.m. on Clubhouse.
I would love
And
to, but I'm
you,
not on Clubhouse, man.
are you on Android?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait till they have like an Android version. Like I feel like they do need a second wave of that, because like what's happening right now is that we're starting to notice that because things are opening up, so people are like enjoying things IRL again, and people are like out and about. But now that we're in 3.0, maybe the numbers will pump up again. But um, Nada Music has been such a joy to a lot of people, myself included. It's the thing that I look forward to on Friday nights. Just a couple of weeks ago, we had a singer-songwriter from Los Angeles as our special act, and he woke up at like 6:30 a.m. and did the thing.
How
Like,
unrock star is that? Right? Awal
he's like,
bangun.
well, He's like, I need to reshift my body clock anyway, so this is the perfect time to do that.
Right.
I'm like, oh
So
my gosh,
cool.
you're
That's
such a darling. But yeah, Nada Music has become such a community now, and like all of the talents and artists are on there, all different levels, and we welcome not just singers. We welcome songwriters, instrumentalists. If you want to do spoken word, also can, no
So
problem.
how do you pick and
But
choose who performs though?
so on Thursday nights we have the registration night. So we open the floor. We open like maybe 11 slots for people who want to come and try and sing. People are like, oh, I work a corporate life, but I do love singing.
Yeah.
And then they just make that courage to raise their hand and then see their life change after that, which is what I've been noticing.
Did it start because you were like, just I need to perform, man. I need to do something.
I actually don't perform on there. Myself and Brandon, we host.
Right.
I think it's like a nice time to just sort of like kick back and like listen to what the younger generation has to offer, and that's why I created. I approached Asamat because Clubhouse was so in at the time, but there was just a lot of rooms that were too much talky,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, you know what? I want like because I was inspired by Lullaby Club and Crave sessions, which I performed, which is why I was on Clubhouse because I was invited to perform for this Lullaby Club and Crave sessions. And then I was like, we need something like that in Malaysia. We need just like a music centric Clubhouse where people can just be like, hi, my name is so and I wrote this song last night. And the moment they open their mouths, it's just, I'm like, just gobsmacked and amazed all the time. Like you really don't have to look far. Actually, coming back to your question, Asha, like what made me come back? Like a huge, other than family, a huge chunk of that was when I was back in for work here in 2018, and I started noticing all of these incredibly young talents who are like far more courageous and brave than how it was when I first started out, and it's very different now
Yeah.
because of the internet and how everything is really accessible, and like personalities are evolving, mentalities evolving as well, especially in like the creative scene.
Yep.
So I was like, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that change, and I want to help however I can to kind of push
Yep.
the limits a little bit, and sort of try to advocate wherever, contribute help like however I can. So Nada Music has been uh, inadvertently, like we didn't even realize we were sort of like going through that path. And yeah, we hope to do a physical one sometime soon.
Nice.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you caught the wave, babe. You
I
came
would.
back and you caught the wave.
I'll be there, man.
I've always been pretty lucky with catching the wave. Like even when I was moving, when I lived in New York, also like the Williamsburg wave, just about to come up, and then it got too expensive.
Right.
But do you miss living there though? Now that you're back here, do you miss the life?
I miss. Okay, I just want to be honest, lah. Kan, like I do actually miss like a lot of my creative freedom, so to speak. You know, um, not to say that I'm not creatively free here. However, like there were certain changes in my lifestyle that, of course, like I had to make.
Right.
You know, but I was like living too freely, having too much fun. So
Is there such a thing? Life is so short and so precious. Like really, speaking for as a mama, it's like go live your life, live it
10
freely.
years though, 10 years of too much fun. I'm like, okay, girl, slow down.
It's like having too much sugar. It's like, ooh, jala.
Well, I mean, all those, the whole decade that I was there was just like, gathering, I feel like that was my time to really better myself because I started when I was really young, like 23, 22, 23. What did I know? You know, Gave me a credit card and I'm like, oh, it comes from somewhere. Oh, wait, like and
Yeah.
just so frivolous and stuff like that. But I did
Mm.
have a lot of fun. I met so many incredible people who do wonderful things in the world. So in that regard, I'm like very, very fortunate. And I learned a lot about myself, uh, which
So
is, I
important.
think, quite important. Yeah.
Mm. So talking about, you meeting loads of people, how did you get involved in the highly collaborative project Rise?
Oh my gosh, I love these questions so much.
We thank
It
JD
makes
for
me
a
it
lot of the
makes me
research as well.
it makes me feel so cared about. Yeah, that one was quite surprising because they approached me and they said like, hey, we have this song featuring all these incredible, talented artists. Like Vince Nantes wrote. He's a songwriter. He wrote the song, and he also wrote Black Swan by BTS.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then we have Inigo Pascal, Dream Boy, Heartthrob, and then Moves, who produced the track. And then I was like
You
the
want
only
me?
girl and only
Yeah,
Malaysian on
exactly.
there, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, who said no?
Something's going on here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Me? Really? Who said no? So they were like, no, actually, like you were the first choice, and we're so grateful you said yes. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like
Wow.
this is such a awesome thing to be a part of. Um, but yeah, and like all of us still keep in touch, and we're going to be doing a lot more collaborations together in the future.
Brilliant.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Um, you're also recently back on stage this time with the legend, Zainal Abidin.
Who we had a chat with here,
Yeah,
exactly.
he
Yeah.
was in the
And he was
studio with
saying,
us.
oh, I'm doing a show with Zee Avi, and I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome, right?
Sadly,
Oh,
we
he
couldn't get
remembered
there.
my name.
Yeah, yeah, he mentioned
Yes.
your name, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
he didn't remember my name on the day of the show.
oh,
Oh,
really?
what? Oh, what he mentioned? Yeah, yeah, he did.
Grandpa
Yeah,
Zainal.
Zainal, what is going on with you,
I'm
man?
like, we're on the same deal.
Right,
And the thing, I've also met him before that as well. We were
right.
both
But he
judges
did
at
mention you
the.
here, yeah. What was that
Yeah, that was
experience
super
though?
fun. It was super fun. My band and I had a lot of fun. We really did. Was just like lepas geram, like
Mm,
after a whole year of like not being on stage.
yes, I can
And
imagine.
yeah, we really just all. I love my bandmates. My Malaysian bandmates. They're like my family, and and we got to bond with them, and play our truths through our instruments again. Felt really good.
Nice.
But the most fun part was being there and seeing people's faces.
Yes, right?
Seeing them smile, tap their feet, clap their hands, and sing along. That was the best part. Oh my gosh, it's like after a year of just. And when you
Zoom.
play virtually, like you can see yourself.
Mm.
I'm just like,
Yeah, there's that you're
so
being filled with the energy or hit by the energy wave, right? When you're in front of
yeah.
people.
It's I always say it's symbiosis, lah.
Mm,
Like
mm,
being on there and like give and take the energy up there, and yeah. But actually, it was really fun. Although uh, it was our first time. A couple of us. It was our first time out of the house, and I had to ask them like, "Are you guys sure you're okay with
right,
being in the presence of 200 people right
right.
now?"
Were they okay?
So one of them opted out, which is totally understandable.
Yeah,
So we had a violinist, and it's my guitarist, but we had a violinist come and take his place, and which was really different and refreshing.
yeah.
But yeah, it was just really nice,
Mm,
and like to be out there on stage again, and
Because you know what? You said it
following.
was nice to see the faces, people tapping their feet, right? You needed them as much as they needed you. Because I think it was watching people perform again, it's just therapeutic in general for everybody, I think, right now.
Right, really, exactly, and we really just gave it our all that day.
how brilliant.
Yeah.
I miss
And
music and
yeah.
being out and listening to music so much. We are celebrating Hari Raya.
First day of Raya, Selamat Hari Raya, by the way.
Selamat Hari
Completely
Raya.
forgot about that part.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
I'm dressed like cake lapis.
You are, yes. It's so cool.
Yummy.
I love it.
I just realized that this is my cake lapis fit.
Yummy. So I was just wondering, like, what's, you've obviously been away through many different rayas. You've been traveling probably through a lot of different rayas, and
I've not
obviously the
had
fasting
many
month.
rayas.
Right.
Right.
What's your best memory of Ramadan and Raya from your childhood?
Definitely playing bunga api with my cousins.
It's really
For real. And also my dad loves festivities in our house. So they're like very festive people, we celebrate everything.
Nice.
Also because like my family on my mom's side were quite muhibah, so there's like lots of different
right.
uh, traditions and races. So like my dad is already in the raya spirit a month before Ramadan, probably.
Holy
Like the house
wow!
would just be
He preps
the house would
early.
just be playing like raya songs. It would still be playing raya songs after raya.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I think like raya songs, my mom baking non-stop, like sleepless nights baking cake lapis,
Right. Nice.
um and playing fireworks with my cousins in my late grandparents' big compound house. So we had like all of the crazy bunga api.
So this would be Miri then, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, because like in Miri, here we live in a condo, right? So
Yeah.
like
Mary's home.
in
Actually, how
yeah,
for a lot of people don't realize, like people who in the peninsula, I suppose they don't realize this. For the uninitiated, how different is celebrating Raya in Sarawak, in Miri, in East Malaysia compared to Peninsula? Is it different?
I don't know. I don't know how to compare that because in ever since we lived in KL, like we do have open house, but they come to our apartment,
Right.
and our family, most of my family, extended family, is still in Sarawak. But in Sarawak, what I miss the most is like seeing the lampu raya in the houses.
Right.
Oh,
Like
yes.
the neighborhoods, like so meriah. It's different feel like in the city, and being in your hometown and
I think
seeing all of that.
you can't see in the city because it's vertical living, whereas in kampongs in the smaller towns, the little streets to even go up the shops to go and buy your
Yeah.
lunch or whatever, you have to pass people's houses and you can see the decorations and things
Yeah,
going on, and you can see who's got the tent outside the house because they got kanduri coming in. Everyone's
Right.
going around to Mariam's
selling
house
lemang.
today,
Right.
lemang,
Exactly. Yeah.
yes.
Is the food different though?
Um, uh, I guess it depends. But for us, my mom makes nasi tomato, dal, curry, satay. Yeah. So I don't know.
No.
Is it different?
No laksa Sarawak anywhere inside.
Got.
Right.
But have. So like my mom used to make it every single year that people would just automatically show up during open house,
Right.
and they'd be like super bummed if she wasn't making it. She's like, wait, tak ada laksa Sarawak ke? This year?
Just complete strangers walking up. Laksa Sarawak, who are you? What are you doing here? Right? Just
It's a
rocking
lot
up
of
the
work
laksa.
actually. Like laksa Sarawak is quite tedious. So my mom is very immaculate with her presentation, and my job is to detail the tauge.
All right. So
Oh gosh.
until what?
Just
So okay.
thousands of them.
I feel your pain on that one. I have sat there with newspaper in front of me, one pile,
On the
peel.
bangku or on the stool.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh, the joys.
Yeah, exactly. But fun lah, gotong
Mm,
royong.
yeah. So what was Ramadan like for you when you were like out on the road? Did you kind of travel back home for those sort of that sort of around
No,
that time or no?
no time to do that. I actually couldn't. For me, like I couldn't afford to get homesick. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
so there were times. If I'm homesick, I just give my family a call. But yeah, being on the road, cross country, quite taxing,
Yeah.
but very fun, very fun.
Did you ever try and host a foreign raya somewhere wherever you were, whether it was New York or LA, wherever you were, kind of going, okay,
Oh
right,
yeah,
okay.
ada. In New York, I have a cool Malaysian posse, so we'd get together, just like maybe like five of us, all in the creative industry as well, and we just get together and masak whatever we can.
I was
I
going to say,
remember like
makan
one
is always
time,
going to be.
yeah, because of course, like if Raya falls on the weekend, then we can celebrate together lah. But if not, then it's like like see you guys soon.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I remember like one Raya in New York, like my friends and I, after we makan so kenyang, and then I don't know why, but we decided to go and listen to all of the 14 state anthems of Malaysia.
Wow. Semangat gila. Oh my god.
Macam curious tapi lah, I don't know lah, like when Malaysians get together, like the range of the conversation, we're just sailing, like
Yeah.
you go anywhere, but like curious lah pula kan. Okay, Sarawak
Yeah.
one sounds like this. What about you? You from Perak? Okay, how's it sound like? Like that.
Because I mean, you had to try to get the feeling of being in Malaysia, because it's not like you could rock up to a Ramadan bazaar in Greenwich Village or anything, right?
Right. But my parents did come for Raya in LA, so I invited my friends. My mom made like all the Raya food in my house, and people were just
Wow.
like, "What is going on here? Everything is so good." Food coma, everyone after that.
But those celebrations were unfortunately few and far between also, lah, right? So it's kind of nice to come back to Malaysia, get back to
Of
the regular Raya,
course.
right?
Always, yeah. I mean, my family and I, ideally, we love celebrating Raya in Sarawak.
Mm.
Although unfortunately, yeah.
How
In
different is this
yeah.
year then, Raya this year for you guys then?
Last year was the same also, actually, right?
Yeah. But at home still meriah lah, because my dad makes it meriah, with his constant DJing of Raya songs. Oh my God. Which is not bad. But I do have friends who say that their mothers are very glad there's not going to be Raya.
Oh, really? Hey, I can imagine, because you can't really say, I don't really feel like Deepavali this year, or I don't really feel like Raya, or I don't really feel like
So
Christmas,
just
right?
simply throw it, alah, pandemic lah, you know lah.
Cannot lah, cannot. Because I understand there's such a banyak kerja, right? Actually.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's like happy lockdown Raya.
Yes.
Yeah. Salam
Free
pandemic.
shopping online.
But you know what? From all of us, I think all of Malaysia, we're very, very proud of you. We love what you've done. Welcome home.
Yeah.
And
Thank you so much.
we're if it wasn't COVID right now, if it wasn't a pandemic, we would be rocking up to your house and then tasting your mom's laksa Sarawak already. But we want to wish you and your family Selamat Hari Raya.
Yeah. Selamat
Thank you
Raya.
so much, guys. Thank you. And I wish you guys the best of love and life.
Right
If
back
this
at you,
wasn't
kid.
pandemic, I'll be there, and
Yeah, dude.
I'd probably be doing like lots of Insta stories. Not gonna lie.
Exactly. But also the clubhouse thing for Nada, I want to see you, Sola. So because I'm an Android person, right? So
I tell you what, you cook food for me, your bitter balls,
Yeah.
right? And then I'll lend you my phone.
okay, cool. I'm going to be watching Nada on her phone. We're on it.
Yeah, please do come. Please do come. Yeah, it's always nice to have as many people as possible.
You know what? Asha and I will perform.
Oh God, do you know, it's awful. This is like one of the worst parts of this job is like when he forces me to sing. I'm tone deaf, I can't sing, right? And yet he forces me to rap and sing, making free plug jingles for people all the time. So I've embraced sounding terrible and actually being really good with how terrible I sound.
I've gotten her to rap. She sings in all the ads I write and everything. So I love her. So we want to perform. Asha,
Wow.
Should we write a song for Zee?
Yes, we will.
Okay, let's do it. Okay.
Zee, is that a game for you?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh no, not now.
Not now on your
Oh.
No. Give us time
I'm
to
ready.
prepare.
No.
Give us time to prepare. But seriously,
Betul lah.
I know the right
Betul.
song.
What do you want to sing?
We can't say it now because she'll know it.
Okay, cool.
I've been to. Remember?
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Okay, we got it already. We'll be on the next one after Raya.
Betul
Yes,
Betul.
guaranteed.
I will come kacau you.
Zee, Selamat Raya. Thank you so much.
Selamat Hari Raya. Thank you so much, maaf Zahir Batin. And yeah, have a great rest of the time. Stay safe, stay sound.